Hello, welcome to Secure Talk, your trusted source of information on the latest threats, trends, tools, and technology related to cybersecurity and compliance.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Secure Talk. My name is Mark Schreiner, and I'll be your host for this episode of Secure Talk. Today, we're going to be talking with Michal Cizek, who is the co-founder and CEO of GoodAccess. GoodAccess is a VPN and security service provider. And we're going to be talking to Michal about the in and outs of the VPN industry, how he came to found GoodAccess, and talk about some of the growth that the company's been experiencing, and maybe also talk about some of his management philosophies. But before we do that, let's say hi to Michal. Michal, how are you today?
Hello, Mark, again. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me here. And I'm pretty good today. Come
Good.
on Monday.
Yeah, it's for you, because I think, where are you based?
Yeah, for me, it's actually evening. I'm based
Mhm.
in Czech Republic, somewhere close to Prague. Let's say 1 hour from Prague, Czech Republic, and 3 hours drive to Berlin, Germany.
So how are things these days? I mean, the whole world came out of the pandemic, but then obviously you've got the whole Russia-Ukraine situation, which is very close to you. I mean, it's maybe not as close to you as Poland is to the Ukraine, but you're still you're very much right in that region. Is that a concern for everybody, or is it just life as usual, or what's the situation?
The situation is even worse if you read the news.
Yeah.
If you don't listen and read the news, it's quite calmly a nice day here. Anyway, my wife would be definitely scared if I would tell her what I can read on the internet and everything. So we just take care of kids and hope this is going to be done very soon. But anyway, here in Czech Republic, nothing happens. We just helped a few Ukrainian families with their children who came here and try to integrate somehow and wait until the war is over.
Yeah, I'm actually been pretty impressed with how Europe has responded in terms of welcoming immigrants from the Ukraine in. Last year, when I was on a business trip, I stopped in Germany. I saw that many German small towns and cities had plans in place to bring in Ukrainian refugees and help find them housing, in some cases find them work, and I saw that in other places as Europe as well. So I mean, it's pretty impressive how responsive you've been so far.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. This works really perfectly. And we see many families and especially women already integrated. So I meet them.
That's great. Hey, so you've been leading businesses. I believe, according to your show notes, it says that you started your first business when you were 18 years old. And you've been in and out of the VPN industry for quite some many years. And then in 2020, you founded GoodAccess. Just to set the stage, I maybe you can introduce what does GoodAccess currently do, and then I want to back up and talk about the VPN industry specifically.
Okay, it is basically a platform which does zero trust network access, which is kind of evolution of business VPN as we know it from the old ages, when you need to connect remotely to the office, and over the time it developed in a product and technology called zero trust network access. So simply you control the remote access, you can manage it, everything is automated, and you create kind of secure network perimeter, which is based in cloud, but connects all your networks and parts of your company into kind of umbrella secure network perimeter, which is isolated from public internet and then very well protected.
Okay, thank you. And I definitely want to come back and talk about zero trust network access down the road. But before we do that, can you kind of give a breakdown of the VPN industry in terms of there's so many different providers out there, and I don't know if you can put them in different buckets or different tiers based upon their size or the types of services they provide. Maybe can you just give a general overview?
Yeah, that would be good to put them into the buckets based on the use case, and maybe if it's being used by consumer or small business large enterprise. So, there was always the use case like remote access to the business network, like office network in the past. And in 2008, I was one of the first pioneers on the new growing industry, which was developing in 2008, called consumer-based VPN as a service, where people were looking for a service which help them to overcome some local network restriction or access the television TV shows which are not available in their country, or simply being protected on unprotected Wi-Fi networks like in hotel and in airport. So that was the use case for consumers. And over the time since 2008, when there were 3 companies around the world and me, so during the time now you can find tens of thousands small or bigger companies providing this kind of service. But it's nothing much interesting on that technology, so we decided to go a little further and develop something which is being used by small businesses around the world. And the use case is pretty simple. To protect the business systems, not to expose them on the public internet, but to hide them and allow the access only people, employees which should work with that system, and still having anytime, anywhere access, which is secure and encrypted. And another packet would be for the large enterprises, which is pretty simple, but large enterprises really needs to manage tens of thousands accesses and devices, and this zero trust movement, which we see in the United States and UK and Europe, started actually in the enterprise world. But we feel the small enterprises and SMBs actually has the same use case and needs. That's why we are here.
Okay, and maybe you can walk me through the very specifics of a use case with SMBs and the zero trust network access. I mean, what does it actually look like in use?
Yeah. Okay. We all know the configuring VPN in-house, doing it with open source resources, open source software like OpenVPN could be quite painful. You can do it if you have, let's say, 1 or 2 endpoints or employees using it. But if you want to have it fully automated and scalable over the company with tens or maybe hundreds of employees, it's really pain. And we all remember the age when it was difficult to configure it. Sometimes it didn't work. On some devices, it was not even possible. And so that is one use case, to automate sync and have it working smoothly on all devices and manage it with no IT knowledge with one single platform in the cloud. That's the remote access management, which is pretty good use case for enterprise and also for small business having 10 employees. Second use case is to protect business systems which doesn't need to be publicly exposed. Website needs to have public access, obviously. But if you use CRM, if you use your eShop administration, if you use some cloud development environment on database servers, you don't need to expose it publicly in order to have anytime, anywhere access from your employees. That's why we are here and trying to hide everything into one secure private network, which is accessible from anywhere and connects all the parts and networks which company has into the one single one, which offers the zero trust capabilities, verifies identity, and provides the GDPR and HIPAA logs.
Excellent. And I mean, there has to be a certain amount of trust to go with a provider. What are the main concerns that your new customers have when they reach out to you?
Yeah, definitely the security. They are asking if we store any data which goes through our infrastructure. The answer is no. We're just passing them through. But the use case is also to have this environment secure. So sometimes they require to have advanced security features like deep packet inspection, So we can analyze the traffic, we can analyze the devices, we can help them with identifying employee with some mobile phone or laptop which is not updated or lacking the antivirus software, or there is no passcode, there is no biometry. So these anomalies can be detected and reported to the business owner. So we are trying basically to get and provide the control, getting back to the hands of the business owner this way. So yes, they are concerning about privacy and they are concerning about security, but we have defined a lot of compliances on our website. We are being regularly pen tested by third companies, third parties. So we basically ensure the customer that we can provide better security than they can do by themselves in their own company.
Awesome. Um, I'm looking at your website right now, and I see that you have a free business VPN. Business VPN. What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, that's basically very interesting. We were one of the no, we were really first provider who provided business VPN for companies for free as a freemium. This was the something where we are really very unique, and this freemium service can provide the same security as you buy as a consumer for your employees. As a consumer, you want to be protected on public Wi-Fi networks, just to have one secure provider which encrypts all your traffic, and you don't need to take care who you are connected to the internet through. So GoodAccess Premium, the starter plan, provides basically the same. And in advance, we provide kind of phishing and malware protection based on DNS security. This is everything for free for any company having less than 100 employees.
Excellent. Okay. Um, and I'm sorry to go back to zero trust again, but can you actually explain, like in the context of, using a VPN, how does this zero trust network access actually work? What is zero trust about it?
Yeah, I love to use analogy with the real world. So from physical world, we usually define a secure perimeter of the company by a building with four strong walls, which inside you can feel secure. It's your environment as a company owner. And if you, as an employee or guest, enter the building, you need to show your ID to the security guard, and that's how they verify you are not pretending someone else. You are Mark, and this way you verify identity, and then you are being given by access card, which allows you to open only specific doors in the building. You never get access to everything. Or if you are a business owner, you can get everywhere, but as an employee, you have access to only specific parts. And then there is a security, there are security policies. So you cannot probably wear the gun if you enter the building. Maybe there are security cameras and security guards. So you enforce your security policies somehow. That's how the security works in the physical world. But in a virtual environment of current days, when people are working remotely and the business systems are spread around many networks, connected through the public internet, clouds, multi-cloud systems, private public clouds, on-premise branches, SaaS, you absolutely have no control about your security. So zero trust approach, especially on network level, that's what we do, tries to achieve the same security level as we know from the physical world in this hybrid virtual environment. So basically verifying every single device and employee entering your network perimeter, and the network, which is kind of new perimeter in these days, can be clever. It can check what's happening inside, and if there is something strange, it can detect it and block it automatically, or kick off the device which is not healthy enough to be compliant with your security policies. So that's basically what zero trust does on network level, and the technology is called zero trust network access.
Awesome. And what are the methods of authentication that you can use?
Uh, there is, of course, username password. You can use multi-factor authentication with Google or Microsoft Authenticator. You can use biometry, and of course, we support also the single sign-on compatibility. So if the company already has identity provider like Okta, Google Workspace, Azure ID, it's very simple to interconnect it with the single sign-on capability. So you don't need to use GoodAccess identity. You can use anything you already have, and it's compatible with anything which is compatible with some protocol.
Are you seeing a movement away from passwords?
Definitely. Hopefully everyone sees. But it's always the first way how to authenticate. So there's not movement completely out, but we usually add something more than only password. So even in our company, we use password managers, and I still have thousands of passwords in my password manager. So it's not that away from the situation we know that 10 years ago.
Okay, so passwords are gonna still be around for a while.
I believe so. Same like with IP version 4.
Gotcha. Um, if you were coaching a I'm not even going to say a CISO because typically at small, medium-sized businesses, they don't have, oftentimes they'll even just outsource their IT services. They might have one or two people in-house, depending on the size of the organization, right? But let's just say you're coaching somebody who's responsible for procuring VPN services, and they're looking for providers. What are the, top three things that they should look for?
I would definitely search for business VPN or zero trust network access solution, and be sure I'm not buying consumer-based VPN. And we can find a lot of VPN providers who has a 99% of consumers trying to sell something which is called business VPN. It's definitely not true. So you need to find a solution which is focused on B2B, and that would be the first advice. And then I would definitely look not only for a VPN capability, but also look for the zero trust capabilities. And basically three things: verifying identity, network segmentation, and identity-based access control, and GDPR or HIPAA compliant logs. So you need to see what's happening on this network. So basically, zero trust network access, business VPN, cloud VPN, and maybe secure software-defined perimeter. These four keywords I would use to find such a service.
Thank you for that. And let me ask you, how important is pricing to your customers?
For the smallest one, it's very important, but it's not always about how much you pay for such a SaaS service. It's also about how much costs you can save if you don't need to have 10 IT experts and 6 cybersecurity experts or VPN configuration people in-house.
So when you're talking with prospective customers, um, and they voice a concern about pricing, how do you turn the conversation to say, hey, maybe pricing is important, but let's look at the savings you can realize by these other areas here. Is that a conversation that you have?
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't need to have any IT expert in house.
Mhm.
You're trying to build a platform which can be managed by assistant, by people with no IT knowledge. Super simple. I'm talking not only by component management, but also about deployment. It's known that it can be deployed in less than 10 minutes for basic use case. So it's that simple, and we have solution architect in technical support team who can help with
Okay.
initial deployment. But it's very
So
simple. It's
so
very
if
unique
I,
for us.
if I'm the CEO of a small company, let's just say, 60, 70 employees, Half of them work from home these days, and I'm concerned about how they access the as you said, the non-public facing data and apps. I want to deploy some kind of VPN service, and I say, okay, how do we actually deploy it? What are the physical things that we need to do?
Yeah, and a basic use case, if you want to have protection of one or two systems, you just need to establish a gateway. Within GoodAccess, it's a dedicated private gateway with a static public IP address. So you have your unique gateway in a cloud, which your employees can access through and serve the internet. So you have IP address, which is identifier of your GoodAccess network, and you can whitelist it in your business system. So basically, setting up the rule in your firewall, or in many SaaS systems, you can simply say only this IP address can be allowed for accessing the system. The rest of the world is forbidden. This setup can be done in less than 10 minutes, and you are done, like protecting the access to one business system.
Awesome. And are most of your customers like inbound leads from the internet?
That's right. We try to generate a lot of content and educate. So we get a lot of leads reading our articles and content come to us.
And I noticed in the show notes that you've had some pretty impressive growth. I think over 200% for the last couple of years, and you're active in over 100 countries. I guess 120 countries. What's the secret for your success and growth? Because again, there are a lot of different VPN providers out there.
There are, the most difficult part is to differentiate us against the consumer-based VPN, because if you look for a VPN, and you want to find the cloud business-related VPN, it's like advertising, racing car in a huge ocean of common cars. So that's really pain, but we identified some ways what people are searching for, what keywords we need to create content around, and that's the way how we found our inbound source. But let's say six months ago, we also starting the outbound activities, because we see the market is already mature enough to know what is zero trust, and also, there are some regulation in the United States and EU, which requires zero trust architecture for many companies. So
Okay.
it's evolution this way.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and that content marketing is so critical, and it sounds like you're doing a really good job of that. In terms of let's just switch tracks. If you were going to advise a consumer, because at the end of the day, we all work for businesses, most of us do anyway, but we're also individuals. If you were going to advise a consumer to procure a VPN service, first off, why would an individual consumer use a VPN, and how should they select a VPN provider for the consumer side?
You can have many reasons. If you want to watch TV from outside of the United States, maybe this could be first reason, because this way you can get to the United States virtually from anywhere in the world. And second reason, which I would recommend to use, is to find a trustworthy VPN provider, and it's a difficult job. There are a lot of affiliate marketing around trying to convince this VPN service is really the best, but you should really find a trustworthy provider who is based in some part of the world which is trusted by you. So European, US VPN providers, bigger antivirus providers could be safe for you. And also, this way you can be sure that you are passing your data through someone who is not abusing it or selling to anyone else. And
And
then
can you hold on?
you can benefit.
I'm curious. Just so we're all on the same page. If I'm using a VPN provider's service, what data of mine should I be concerned that they may be capturing and selling specifically?
it's the same like with any ISP you connect through internet. So if you connect through big telco, they usually analyze your URLs which you access to, and they know how much time you spend with the social networks, how much time you spend with watching YouTube, how much time you spend with any other activity on the internet. Because DNS is something which is not encrypted, and you can see which sites you are looking and surfing. So if you want to have just one provider, that's good to have a VPN, consumer-based VPN. So you share this data only with one trustful provider, not with many providers which you access internet through during the day. That would be a big, good reason for that. So about privacy, you know your provider, and if you connect through them, they only see what you're doing on the internet, and they are the only provider during all your day or your time.
But still, they can see, you know, what sites you're accessing, etc.
Exactly. Always.
How can you be sure that they're not selling that information?
Sometimes they say it in terms of service. They simply guarantee you that we do not sell, we don't watch, we don't track it, and that's what you need to believe in.
Okay. I like the fact that I like the fact that you laughed there. It's
That's
like,
right, man. It's everywhere.
trust us. We're from the government. We're here to help. Hey.
Exactly. Everything is about trust. So
Yeah.
it's your
That's
responsibility who you trust to.
Yeah, well, that's where the whole zero trust is awesome because I don't think you can afford to trust anybody these days. So you have to act as if you can't, and then just have your fingers crossed. But it's funny. I just did a search on Google for, best VPN providers, and all the results come back. They're paid results, or they're posts that have like 15 different providers with links to the providers. So it's affiliate marketing, right? I mean, there's no real content
Yeah,
on this that I can see. So
exactly.
I could see that it would be very challenging to pick, and some of them are like, oh, lowest cost. But if they're lowest cost, those are probably the guys that are selling your content, because they get, there's no free lunch. They're making their money somewhere.
Exactly. Never buy free VPN. This is something against us, but we have our business. We know why we are doing premium VPN for businesses. We simply want to show them the benefits of the product and benefits of the paid part of the product. So that's why we provide honestly, that's why we provide the premium, just to have them touch the platform, provide some benefits, some protection, and show the customer how better they can be protected if they go with the paid plan. So that's our intention. Nothing else, nothing like that. If you want to go the free consumer-based VPN, you probably will be experiencing maybe ads, maybe selling your data, maybe something more. So
Mhm.
think this way.
No free lunch. Hey, your company's grown quite a bit in the last few years. I'm curious, how many people actually come into the office, or how many people, where's your headquarters, and how many people actually come into the office?
You mean how many come to the office? We work
Yeah.
really a lot of time. We work remotely, so it's hybrid.
Hmm.
And currently we have 35 people in the team,
Hmm.
and we are in process of fundraising at the moment. So we will rise probably this year, Series A. So this way we should be growing really a lot, also on the employee staff count. And so 35, we have headquarters based in Czech Republic, let's say 1 hour northern from the Prague.
Hmm.
And another office, which is marketing part, is in another city in South Moravia, Czech Republic. The city is called Brno. It's quite nice startup community there.
Awesome. And in terms of going after funding, are you going after approaching US-based VCs or VCs anywhere, or do you care?
We are currently in the middle of the process, so we have talks with over 50 VCs around the world. So we approached US-based VCs, UK, Western Europe, and Israel.
Excellent.
looking for the right partner. There is a
Yeah.
big market opportunity at the moment, so I think it's a good time to jump in.
Well, in terms of funding, though, like last month was one of the lowest amounts of funding that went out in the last like 5 or 6 years. So, the timing, of course, it depends on what sector you're in, and some of them have been hit a lot harder than others. But you are seeing some interest?
Yeah, we see a lot of interest. Cybersecurity is still hot topic.
Hmm.
So I think cybersecurity is one of the uh, less affected industry. So the decrease was not so big, and it's always about the good companies can always get funding, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, and you have some impressive growth. You're a SaaS business, so I'm sure all that stuff resonates with your target investors. So that's pretty cool. Hey, I noticed in the show notes that you're a firm believer in the Teal organization, or the system for management. And I am not familiar with that. I did a quick look online, and it looked to be quite interesting. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is the company culture topic, and that's where we are really special. And 2 weeks ago, I met a lot of European startups in cybersecurity, which have been chosen by Google Growth Academy. So companies in a growth stage doing cybersecurity over around Europe. We've been chosen by one of them, and there was a pretty nice discussion how to make company culture like working in a company. Strange question. It develops somehow itself, but we had a really nice discussion about it, and I was promoting one of the books which changed my life and also the life of the company. The author is Frederic Laloux. It's a author who wrote a book, Reinventing Organization, and this Teal is his way how he called the companies which developed the culture like on the peak of the evolution of the organization. So the lot of things which Teal organization does is like self-management, self-organization, inner motivation, inspiring each other, having a safe environment so people can share their tasks, bring the emotions in the company, and everything is built a lot of on a trust. So we don't count the work hours of the employees. We believe they sometimes they can work overtime, and sometimes during the summer or low season they can simply have a rest, and everything is their responsibility rather than measure it, report it this way, which basically creates a lot of nice environment in the company. So I'm happy to have it and live it.
No, it sounds awesome. At the same time, I'm a huge believer in giving people a lot of autonomy and then the support that they need, and letting them figure out the best way to solve the challenges that are in front of them. And if you can get your organization to work that way, in my experience, you're going to be a lot more effective overall. At the same time, I also believe that, if you want to get better at something, you start measuring it and you start tracking it. And you don't have to be too deep into the weeds on it, but you need to figure out a couple key metrics to say, for example, are the number of customers increasing? How many customers do we have last month and how many do we have this month, right? And you have financial metrics as well for the organization. I think on an individual level, like if you have a salesperson, maybe it's how many emails did you send? How many calls did you send? Meetings did you get? Things like that. So, do you track any performance, or do you have any individual goals or OKRs or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely we track it. Actually, it's quite challenging in matter of sales team. It worked very well in our R&D team. R&D team, that's how we started, and it works really good way. And I would not go different way. But the question came up how to create the sales team based on that culture. And this is something we are still in process. We are looking for out of the box solution, but uh, until we have anything which works better, we still have CRM. We track these performance, and also, the salespeople are used to have it from other companies, so it's not that pain. Like if you would do it the same with the R&D people, it would not work this way. So
Right.
definitely we need to play with the roles.
It makes a lot of sense. And I I work with a lot of different marketing teams, and I also like to give them metrics. So, for example, how many leads have been inbound over the last month or the last week, and what can we do? And oftentimes people are reluctant to fix a target or a goal or even to measure because it makes people nervous that, oh, I've got to own that, and I've got to figure out a way to make it get better. But at the same time, I look at it as kind of liberating because let's get our targets out in the open and let's be transparent about it. And then if you hit your target, hey, great, man, pat yourself on the back and everybody can do a high five. If you didn't hit the target, it doesn't mean that you're bad. It means that we've got to, as an organization, we've got to figure out what we can do to either make those targets more reasonable or find a way to actually hit them. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's always teamwork, so never. Maybe one of the example which could answer that, if we try to hire a leader of the team, like manager, we always ask the team to accept this guy. If they are questioning, and he needs to answer the question of the team members if they are okay to work with, if he can serve the team with his leadership. So this kind of different approach, but it makes a really good mood and a lot of energy, and the people in the team are much more willing to follow the vision and also set up the maybe more tough goals and KPIs for themselves, rather than have someone who has been put in the position and trying to enforce something.
No, I totally agree with you on that. And if the best leaders are the ones who have the subject matter expertise and they understand how to support the people on their team, right? As opposed to, like you just said, somebody who maybe they don't have the understanding, or they're just more of like a general mentality. Hey, you guys got to do this, So, because really, I mean, it's about building teams and supporting them. And it sounds like
Exactly.
it sounds exactly what you're doing. I got to ask you, I'm
Yeah.
going to jump back to the VC question for a second here, or the VC topic. What's the most common question you get from VCs when you're out looking for Series A?
How you are differentiate yourself against the competitors? That's the question I always get, and the answer
Awesome.
is it's really simple. We are the most simple platform on the market, simple to use and deployment.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said you can deploy within 10 minutes.
Yeah, simplicity is something which resonates in a company from the beginning. So trying to make a platform which is not made for IT guys, but for people.
Awesome. Well, hey, Michal, I would like to wish you luck in your search for funding to hit Series A. It sounds like you're definitely on the right track. I want to thank you for coming on Secure Talk. If people want to get more information about your organization or to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
About the product, go to goodaccess.com. About me, or maybe some stories, let's get in touch in LinkedIn. That's best way to reach me out.
Awesome. Hey, Michal, thanks again for coming on Secure Talk.
Thank you, Mark. It was a pleasure to be there.
Hello, welcome to Secure Talk, your trusted source of information on the latest threats, trends, tools, and technology related to cybersecurity and compliance.